Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to everybody who's watching. Welcome to Troop Talk Live. My name is Aaron. I am the least important person on the show today. As normal, I'm joined by two esteemed, prestigious guests. Please welcome to the show Jessica and Jim. We are here to talk about popcorn. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Jessica and Jim in a second. Shout out to our friends at Trails End, our proud sponsor, popcorn reseller. It is about that time of the year. Guys, I can't believe it's July 23rd. I'm on vacation next week. When I get back, it'll be August. School will start. Popcorn season is right around the corner, and we're going to talk about all the advantages of selling popcorn. Obviously, the advantages to your troop, but also the advantages to your scouts and how they can benefit from it. Maybe one of the most important things I should say, we have gift cards to give away, folks. All you have to do to win a gift card is comment. And let me just recommend this. If you want, one way that you can win is by in the comments tagging a friend. You have entered to win. You've also tagged a friend to come watch the video with you. They can then win as well. Wendy, shout out to Wendy from Troop 38 and Pack 38 in Elgin, Illinois. Congratulations, Wendy. You have been entered for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Trails End. I apologize, guys, for all my yapping. Let me just say, first of all, Jess and Jim, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you guys coming on with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having
So
us.
one of the things that's really cool, Jess and Jim, as you can tell by their outfits, by their shirts, they are scouting volunteers. These are Scouts BSA volunteers. They have experience, just like all of you all do, leading Scouts BSA troops. What makes this really, really special is they also both have experience selling popcorn. Jim, as a matter of fact, works for Trails End. I was in a meeting with Jim about probably a month or so ago, right, Jim? And some of his colleagues. And I'm not just saying this, the nicest people that you'll ever meet. And really, they speak the language. What I really liked about the meeting that I had with Trails End and all the conversations I've had, all the emails I've had, shout out to everybody who's been on all those emails for the last week or so. They speak our language. All of you know at home, Scouts BSA volunteers, we have our own language. Trails End speaks that language. So I personally am super excited to have them on board as a sponsor. And I know we as an organization are super excited as well. Shout out to Jennifer from Pack and Troop 5391 in Madison, Georgia. Jennifer, you have just been entered to win a $100 gift card from Trails End. Thank you very much. Our friends at Trails End already making new friends by giving away gift cards. Jennifer is a leader for both a Cub Scout pack and a Scouts BSA troop. And the reason why I mentioned that is we had some Trails End folks on Cub Chat Live last Friday. If you're involved in a Cub Scout troop, I might just suggest that you go back and watch that to learn something. We gave away gift cards there. Unfortunately, those gift cards are spoken for, but the ones for today are not. Nicole, my good friend Nicole on Facebook has tagged a friend. She's the first person I see to have tagged someone else. Good job, Nicole. Shout out to Tina from Pack 3084 and Troop 84. That's two people that I count so far who are both Cub Scout volunteers and Scouts BSA volunteers. Here's another one, Nicole, Troop 41 in Minnesota and Pack 105. Shout out to my good friend Rob from just down the road. Sky Lucky says, happy scouting. All of you folks have been entered to win a $100 gift card from Trails End. Let's get to the meat of our discussion. The reason why we have Jess and Jim on our show today, they know about popcorn sales. Our viewers might know, I've told stories before. I'm a recovering scout leader. I was a scout leader for many, many years. And when I took over our Cub Scout pack, I made a horrible mistake. I told this story last Friday. I said, you know what? We're not going to do fundraising. We're just going to pay for everything out of our pocket. And I was told, I thought I was doing our parents a favor. I was told early on by the parents, nope, you're doing it wrong, Aaron. And I want everyone to know I stand corrected. I was wrong. And I will also say Trails End has made it a lot easier and a lot more efficient now. I won't say how many years it was ago that I was doing this, but it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient now to do than it was back then. I got some numbers. I'm going to pump up Jess and Jim here. You guys are both involved, correct me if I'm wrong, with the same Scouts BSA troop. What's that troop number?
So 1910 and 1920. So paralink troops.
A one girls troop and one boys troop.
Correct.
Awesome, awesome. Both of you selling popcorn. Jess, I know, was also a popcorn colonel with a Cub Scout pack. You guys have been teammates at the troop level for 3 years. Jim, you've been a den leader committee chair, also a popcorn colonel, currently an assistant scoutmaster. You just got back from Philmont Scout Ranch, hence the background. Jim is an
Yep.
Eagle Scout. That was your first trip to Philmont, as I understand.
It was. I didn't even know Philmont existed as a scout.
Is that right?
Yeah.
By the way, one good way to get to Philmont, selling popcorn. I just want to throw that out there.
Yep.
Well, I got a
Legit.
lot of questions, and I know I'm taking a lot of time yapping, guys, but I do have a lot of questions for Jim and Jess. Jim, this will be the 10th year that you've sold popcorn. I think you said you've had a daughter who aged out. Your son just recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
very, very cool. And again, Jim works for Trails End, which is awesome because, again, Jim knows both sides of the equation, which is great. The two troops we're talking about, Troop 1910 and Troop 1920, in 2024 earned $35,372 by selling $90,699 worth of popcorn. The way that works, in case you don't know, when you sell popcorn, some of the funds go to the local council. So that's how much money went to their troop, $35,000. Nothing to sneeze at all. Every scout who participated averaged $4,773 in sales. How did they do it? We're going to find out in just a few more minutes. 100% of their, this is interesting, 100% of their storefront shifts was one scout and one parent. And that's, again, when I was back in my day, we didn't do it that way, but I understand it, and it works, and you can see how it works for there. We're going to talk about there as well. By working with Trails End Popcorn, they've sent scouts to Philmont Scout Ranch, Sea Base, the National Scout Jamboree, the Red River Gorge, all these exciting places. They even purchased a new trailer. Is that correct?
That is correct. The first year our troop existed, we started from scratch, and there was no way we could have bought a trailer that year if we hadn't sold popcorn and fundraised for it.
That is amazing. Combined, Jess and Jim have helped scouts raise around $285,000 to go to their scouting experience. You know, that's money that goes towards scouting. You can use it for high adventure trips. You can use it for summer camp, as long as it's going towards scouting. $285,000, man. I got so many questions for you guys. I know I've jabbed a lot here. I want to give a shout out to Jennifer, who says she is super excited about the tap to pay option in the app. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Rob says, when we were shopping for a troop for my son, we visited a couple that said we didn't have to fundraise. They scratched that troop off the list. I think that's great. You know, that they probably made the same mistake I did, not realizing how important fundraising is. Again, not just for the troop finances, not just for the bank account, but what a great experience for the kids to do that. Shout out to Beth Ann, who has tagged a friend. Todd points out he's an Eagle Scout. Thank you, Todd, for joining us. Shout out to Chuck, who's a leader in PAC and Troop 706, Troop 709G, 709B. Again, another Boys and Girls Link troop. Appreciate that. We are just minutes away from giving away our first gift card, but I've yapped here for 9 minutes. That's like a record, guys. I apologize for that. But let's get now to our esteemed guest, Jim. Tell us about Trails End and what troops should know about selling popcorn from Trails End. Some of our folks may have never done it before. What do they need to know?
Yeah, thanks. So Trails End's got a great group of folks who are always trying to make fundraising simpler and faster for scouts. So like our goal is to get it to where like every scout can fund their entire year in scouting by doing about 6 to 8 hours of work. So whenever we're making decisions and thinking about stuff, we always have that in the back of our mind. This year, probably a lot of folks across the country have noticed that we stood up a group of about 12 folks who are actually scouting volunteers as well, have a lot of experience with scouting, but also have a lot of experience with fundraising. And Trails End has hired them specifically to work with units on an individual basis, both to help them with their fundraising efforts and the popcorn sale in the fall, but also to help them with like literally anything else they might need within their program. Storefronts is probably what made me a believer in this fundraiser. So I want to touch on that real quick because some things have changed this year from previous years with storefronts. In the past, Trails End used to book storefronts like almost solely based on volume. So we just went out and contacted as many stores as we could to bring in as many hours as we could, and that created a little disparity in like what are the good shifts, what are the bad shifts, things like that. So we worked with analytics folks over the winter, and put a lot of time and effort into identifying, okay, what are the locations and times at those locations that are going to have the highest foot traffic, with the goal of producing the opportunity for scouts to earn $300 an hour or more. So that's really what we've focused on. So if it feels like there's less storefronts out there, that would be why, because we've kind of scrubbed out the stuff that we've identified as potentially not being as worth your time to go out and do. Rewards are huge. I know that's why my son sells, and I'm sure that's a big reason why Jess's kids continue to sell as well. Scouts can earn up to 10% of their sales in e-gift cards. In the past, that's been Amazon primarily, and then this year we've worked to expand that. So now there's 15 different options of gift cards. And if you want a little bit of multiple gift cards, you don't have to choose just one. So that's pretty big as well. But to me, the thing that really makes us stand out, in addition to the quality storefronts, is the app. Like, I haven't seen anybody else out there with an app, but Scouts can do everything for this fundraiser in the app. So they can sign up for storefronts, they can make a sale, they can sell online, they can claim the rewards. And then I think I saw someone mention in the comments, Tap to Pay is new this year. And that is absolutely huge, because anybody who's done this fundraiser in the past and had to deal with the Bluetooth card readers, while they're really cool, they can be finicky. Those are no longer needed. You can do everything with just your phone. So lots of good things going on.
That's huge. Again, it was a different era back when I was doing it, Jim. But
that was where I started, was very analog.
People don't carry cash anymore, right? And so when you make it easier,
far fewer.
Exactly. Yep. Yes, you make it easier to pay, not even with a credit card necessarily, but just with the darn phone. That seems like it has the potential to be a game changer. So I support that 100%. You mentioned the incentives. And you mentioned possibly Jess's kids. Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, your husband's a scoutmaster.
He is, yes.
We have a whole scouting family here, folks. Husband's a scoutmaster. Jess is obviously a volunteer. 3 of your children are scouts, one of whom has already reached the rank of Eagle.
Yep.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So just so you know who you're dealing with, folks. Okay. So again, thanks for joining us, Jess. Your opinion, you've been at this for a few years now. What are the keys to success that you've seen? What are the commonalities for kids who sell a lot of popcorn? What do they do?
So one of the biggest keys for success that we have found is making popcorn and fundraising part of the program. It's not just something we do on the side for people to earn their way. We incorporate it into the whole scouting program, right? We host meetings on and off throughout the year to help parents get comfortable with the technology, because that can be very daunting, but extremely helpful over the course, because I've been there when there was paper and it's not super fun.
Absolutely. I've been there, yep.
But understanding the importance of it, and having our leadership absolutely understand the importance of fundraising for the scouts and as the whole troop, it's awesome. We have never had to require scouts to fundraise. Our leadership understands the benefits and tells them, look, these are things that will help you in life, not just here in Scouts. We absolutely take full advantage of what Trails End provides us, right? Between inventory management, the app for selling, the storefront picking, right, for our council. Those are all keys that have helped us get to where we have been. And it's not just leadership alone. From a Scout's perspective, right? It's really about preparation. And when they're out at storefronts, like you mentioned before, it's one scout and one parent. So the scout kind of sort of gets to take the lead. And, they have to work on a confident, respectful pitch, being able to explain why, they're not just selling popcorn, but why they're doing this, right? Really gets customers to respond to it. They're not just buying popcorn. They're helping their scout go on their first camp out or their first summer camp or get to film on My husband and one of my boys just came back from the same trek Jim was on with Philmont, right?
Yep.
Boundary Waters is coming up, right? So it's a personal and meaningful thing that people want to help support if you can do that. And Trails End definitely gives us the ability to make that happen easily.
Awesome. Yeah. I have so many thoughts. That is awesome. But we are to the point where I have to give away a $100 gift card, everybody. This is going to be the first of 3. So if you don't win this one, you've still got a chance to win 2 more. We've got a lot of comments, which I appreciate. I've already run our super magic comment picker, and I have chosen, or the winner has been chosen. I didn't choose the winner. The winner has been chosen. Congratulations to Beth Ann, who tagged someone. I'm assuming it's a relative since they have the same last name. You don't have to tag a friend, but in doing so, you are entered to win. Beth Ann, congratulations. You have just won a $100 gift card. Check your Facebook messages, and you're going to get a link. You can click on that link, and you can choose. That's the great thing about this gift card program. You can choose where you want to spend that $100. Good job, Beth Ann. Appreciate that. So many people commenting again. Travis says, my wife and I, Travis is watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching, Travis. My wife and I are doing popcorn for the first time this year. Thank you, Travis. I see you're with a Cub Scout pack. Be sure and go back and watch Cub Scout Live from last Friday. Jennifer, who's been all in the comments, we've been selling with Cub Scouts for several years. This will be the first year for our brand new girls troop. Smaller town. Yeah, that could probably be a challenge. Real quick, Jim, any comments on folks who are selling popcorn in small communities?
Yeah. So specifically for Jennifer, that's awesome. Like, if you have not been contacted by a unit support person from Trails End, please post a comment or message me like through our Facebook community group, and we'll find someone to help you guys out.
Yep.
I also, if I could real quick, I saw that Scott Baker posted about selling $100,000 last year, which is phenomenal. And they remodeled their new troop home. I want to see some pictures. Like, please post those in Facebook.
Yeah, that is awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about those kinds of success stories. Either one of you, this next question, whoever wants to chime in can chime in. But what kind of things has selling Trails End popcorn enabled your family to do in scouting? I know one of you got up from Philmont. Anybody who wants to chime in.
So in the fall of 2022, my son and I were sitting at a storefront, and I was just looking at the totals that he had achieved that year so far. And I was like, hey, bud, I know we haven't talked about the National Jamboree, but believe it or not, like, you've already sold more this year to cover both of us going next year. Like, do you want to go? And he's like, what's National Jamboree? And that just took us down a rabbit hole that wound up in with both of us going, entirely paid for by popcorn. And it was a super awesome experience, so much so that he's signing up to go back next year without me. So
awesome. What a great experience. Jess, any thoughts from you?
Well, no, I was just going to piggyback kind of off of what Jim said of the whole Philmont, with National Jamboree. That's what started Connor down this whole path. They kind of had that conversation of what all they could do, and it truly has snowballed. I mean, we are not paying a single out-of-pocket dollar for. Connor's gone to one National Jamboree. Both boys are going again next year. They're obviously, a Philmont trek has been done. There's Seabase is already in the works. I believe all 5 of us may be going to Boundary Waters in 2027, and we haven't had to pay for an ounce of that. I don't have to tell my kids they can't do something because we don't have the funding, right? They have been able to raise it all themselves. So it's pretty cool to watch.
That is awesome. And I want to emphasize, Jim mentioned this a second ago, Trails End exists to help you. They want you to be successful. It's in everyone's best interest if you're successful. They have Facebook forums, right, Jim? Customer service. They are here to help. If you have some trepidation, if you have concerns, that's okay. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And I wouldn't have joined them in January if I didn't believe that. And I can tell you, in every meeting and that I'm in, and there's a lot of them. I swear, somebody brings up, it's usually the owner. He says, like, how do we get more of the money in the hands of the scouts? Because that's who we're trying to take care of at the end of the day. Right. And that means a lot to me as a scouting volunteer and someone who works for Trails End.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say, guys, again, I was in a meeting with some nice folks from Trails End, Jim included, a month or so ago. I've been in a lot of meetings over the years with a lot of folks from outside companies who wanted to partner with us, and not all of them get it. I mean, seriously, the Trails End people get it. They want scouting to be successful. We have so many shared common goals. It is time. Well, I'll say it's a couple of minutes away from our second giveaway. I just had another thought. Sorry, I interrupted myself. I'm going to give one more minute for people to comment. We're giving away $100 gift cards. Again, we have 2 more to give away. When I am not hosting wildly popular live videos, guys, I manage a blog in which I write stories about scouting and try to give people advice. And I hear a lot. I hear a lot from people, and scout leaders, a lot of them, they're doing the best they can. And I really appreciate the fact that as an organization, we're going to say the cost of attending a national jamboree, for some folks, that's scary. And I think it's good that as an organization, we're now willing to come out and say this. There's a jamboree next summer. Guys, you can do it. You can fundraise to a National Scout Jamboree. Remind me, Jess, how much you had to pay out of pocket?
0, nothing.
Whoa. Jim?
No, I haven't paid anything for scouting in 10 years.
I mean, yes, right. I mean, it is possible. And the lessons that you learn along the way, we're going to get to that. Fortunately, we've got our guest here for a little bit longer. Let me ask you, Jess, kind of a technical question when it comes to a scout. Let's just say a scout sells $100,000 worth of popcorn or whatever it is. How is that money attributed to them? How does that process work for you?
So each unit kind of sort of can set up their own thing. Our units specifically give as much to almost 100% back to the scouts for what they fundraise. And it allows them, for some people who need a backpack, right, or need a day pack, or need a new water bottle or a new sleeping bag, because stuff happens on campouts, they can use it all for gear. Right. If they want to say, look, I really just want it for summer camp, or I want to save it for a big trip. That's them. It's to help them through that scouting program, which is really kind of nice because it's not just like you're fundraising for the council or for Scouting America and you don't get a benefit to it. It directly goes back to you. And it's fun to watch the scouts when they're explaining that to customers at the table. And they say, no, really, I understand 70% and the popcorn's really high price, but I get 40% of that. So you're helping me directly, not, somebody in another council, 800 miles away or whatever, right? It's coming back to me. Yep. And it's fun to watch when people get to really get to understand how the numbers work and roll.
And that's probably why our units do so well, because parents understand that. Like, they're out there fundraising to earn money to pay for scouting. They're not just doing it for the heck of it or because they don't like their weekends. Like, in our units, there's a specific relationship between work and reward, and everybody gets it.
If you're not familiar with Trails End, behind the scenes, Brian on cue, as always, has thrown up the link. Go there to get more information. Now is the time for our second 100 gift card winner. I've already punched in the information in our software. Congratulations to Martha. Martha says she's here trying to learn a little bit more about how to sell popcorn. Martha, not only have you come to the right place, you've also won a $100 gift card courtesy of our best friends at Trails End Popcorn. Congratulations. Check your Facebook messages. You'll be hearing from us. You'll get a link. You can click on that link. You can choose where you want to use that money. Congratulations. We have one more $100 gift card to pass along. Again, all you got to do is comment. It's pretty darn easy. We recognize, and the folks at Trails End recognize, that our scout units out there have options for fundraising. You don't have to sell popcorn. It's not a part of the rules or anything like that. There are other fundraising options. I'm just curious, Jess, as a volunteer, why did you guys choose Trails End, and why has Trails End worked so well for you?
Well, there's a couple different reasons that we've picked it. One, it's a focused 9-10 week period of time, right? It's effective. We don't have to do it all year round, and it's scalable. our oldest son, his very first year as a Tiger, sold $250. And I laughed hysterically when someone said, well, it's not that far of a jump to hit to 1,000. It's not that far of a jump to hit 5,000. Between the two boys, 2 years ago, my daughter just joined recently. They sold over 30,000 in one year. So you can do $250, or you can do $30,000, right? And the app and Trails In and what they offer allow that. So when you look at it and you go, man, it can be so super daunting. You can start small and make it scalable and effective and work for you and what you have the ability to do, right? Those are.
Jess and I do 9 weeks because we're insane. That doesn't mean everybody has to do 9 weeks. Like if one weekend is what works for y'all, do one weekend. If it's a week or two, then do a week or two. Do what you need to do to earn the money you need. Aaron, I was wondering if I could address one question in here real quick.
Of course, please go ahead.
Totally apologize for mispronouncing the name. Delmas. You said, how do you determine what % of the money raised should go to the unit? What should be earmarked for the scout? I know that can be a touchy topic. You got to figure out what's right for you. But what I've found over a decade of being involved with popcorn is that money talks, and scouting it can cost money, especially when you get up to the troop level. Like all these high adventure trips don't cost nothing. So the more you can cut out of your budget and provide to that family to pay for that scout's activities, do it, please. They will appreciate it.
That's a great comment, and that's a great segue to my next question. Again, either of you feel free to chime in. Some troops choose not to fundraise. We heard a comment from Rob who said he met with a couple of troops and they don't fundraise. I'm assuming that means their parents pay for everything. Some families can do that. I think my personal opinion and my opinion as a scout leader myself, they're missing out if you're doing that.
Yeah,
I don't care how rich you are. You're missing out. What a great lesson for our kids to learn, that if you go out and you work hard for whatever, 1 weekend, 8 weekends, whatever it is, here's what you earn. You work hard, and here's the benefit of doing that. I mean, there's hardly any more basic, better life lessons than that. I would love either one of you, Jess, Jim, your thoughts on what the scouts have learned, not just, the money, but what they've learned from the process.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I think Jim and I could easily go through a room of kids who have sold popcorn and have not sold popcorn. Selling and fundraising. Totally they build characteristics like the confidence, right? Speaking clearly, believing in themselves, knowing and setting goals, handling rejection without getting discouraged is a big thing.
Absolutely. Yes.
Taking control, right? And leading their efforts. And again, it's that pride of like, I did this, right? That, it's fun to watch. My oldest who says, well, I've already been to Philmont once and I want to earn for Sea Base. And people are like, okay, well, tell me more about this kind of stuff, right? You're selling not only popcorn, but scouting experience, and being able to articulate that is something that comes with fundraising, in general.
Yeah. Jim, any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say it's great in a way because it gives them, for good or bad, gives them insight to what it's like to be an adult. Like we all want to take Alaskan cruises, but we got to get money to be able to do that. So you got to go get a job and do work to earn the playtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great thing they're earning. They're earning, like you said early, Jess, camping gear, a new backpack, whatever it is, a tent, a high adventure trip, something like that. The benefits are tangible. They are real. There's a huge advantage to going through the process.
Yep.
Again, we're winding up our show with Trails In. We got a few more minutes. We have one more $100 gift card to give away here. All you got to do is comment. We have a lot of people commenting. Good job. And this is the second show we've done. Again, we did a Cub Chat Live show on this last Friday. We're doing Troop Talk Live today. And it seems like almost everybody in the comments has a positive experience with Trails In. I think, again, I've been a scout leader. I know how it is. It was not my full-time job. Sometimes you're just trying to get through the meeting. Sometimes you're just trying to get through the camping trip. Trails In provides a level of support to help you do that. So you can focus on the stuff that you do. You know, what we want to do is we want to give the program to more kids, right? We want to give kids the scouting program. Trails End exists, at least in this aspect, to help you do that. What a great partner they have been and will be, I think, hopefully for a long time for Scouting America. Jim, you mentioned the phrase earlier, storefront. Let's just talk about that. You mentioned some storefront research and things like that, hourly rates. What is the storefront program? Can you tell us about that and how that works?
Sure. So every year, Trails End goes out and coordinates hundreds of thousands of storefront hours. So stores around scout units, communities where so unit leaders don't have to cold call a bunch of people and set up shifts for their scouts. We load that all into the app and units claim them, and then scouts can sign up to go do shifts at these locations where they literally set up their table of popcorn, they sell for 2 hours, and then they hand it off to the next scout. And what's really great about that, at least to me, is that it brings in outside money. So like I think every other fundraiser that my kids have ever done with like a paper order form, who are you typically going to those? The same friends and family or teachers at school that get hit up for literally every fundraiser. So you're really just exchanging money between parties. But when you go out to the storefronts, you're bringing in money from outside that core group. And on top of that, because we're wearing our uniforms and looking good, it's also a chance to represent Scouting America in the community, which is huge because it just it's not 1985 anymore where everybody's in scouting, and it's just less prevalent in society. So it's great to go out there and remind folks that scouting's still a strong organization, and we've got kids out there doing great things. To be successful at those storefronts, there's a couple things that I remind folks all the time when I'm doing training. But the first thing is it's not rocket science. It's really just like basic sales techniques. So like positioning and setup. So you want to be the first thing that customer sees when they're coming out the door. And kids aren't necessarily always great at this, but I encourage them like, hey, make eye contact with that adult, because then they can't do this and walk past you and not acknowledge you, right?
Right.
I jokingly tell scouts all the time, like, channel your inner theater kid, because when these customers come up to you, they don't want to interact with the grumpy teenager. They want to interact with you so that they can see your personality and hear about all the awesome things that you're doing and learning in scouting. And then your pitch. I know Trails End has said this for years, and it's true. Like the sales and the fundraising is not about the popcorn. It's about scouting, and it's about you. The 99 people out of 100 that are purchasing from you, they're doing so because they want to help you get to summer camp or sea base, or you just pay for your uniforms. Like they're there to support scouting. The fact that they walk away with a bag of popcorn is just a nice thank you per se. So
yeah. Yeah, awesome. And everybody who's ever been a scout leader knows, you guys both know, that there's different kinds of kids. Some of them are pretty comfortable. I was shocked at some of our Cub Scouts, and they were totally fine running up to a stranger and pitching them on selling popcorn and supporting scouting. Others, like my son, not so much, right? A little more nervous. Both of those kids probably have something to learn from participating in fundraising. Again, like you said, Jim, it's kind of a life skill, right? They learn what to do when somebody says no thank you, right? We had one kid who his poor heart would get broken every time somebody said no thank you. And I'm like, listen, you're the cutest kid in the world and you look great with that Cub Scout uniform. Some people just aren't interested, and that's okay, right? It happens.
Resilience.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. We are winding up our show. We still have one more gift card to give away. We mentioned earlier, there is a jamboree coming up. In case you guys watching don't know, next summer, the National Scout Jamboree is going to be at Trails End. Either one of you who feels like taking this question, is there any sort of incentive or anything like that we can talk about for the 2026 Jamboree?
Yeah, absolutely. So Trails End very much wants to help scouts get to National Jamboree next year. So obviously this is specifically for scouts at the troop level, but the goal is if you sell $10,000, in popcorn, then Trails End is going to just automatically give you an additional 5,000 bonus points, which roughly equates to about an extra $750. So that 750 combined with your earnings from selling the 10 grand will be enough to cover the entire National Jamboree fee. So just make sure that you're entering your sales as credit, because there's a difference in points between credit sales and cash sales. And then that's just the reward. So that doesn't even include the commission that's going back to your unit. So, yep. So definitely take advantage of that this year, and go to Jamboree next year.
The Jamboree is a life-changing experience. Anybody who has been will tell you that. And I'm here to tell you, you can fundraise your way there and back and pay at maybe zero out of pocket to do that.
Yep.
It is possible. People do it. Trails End can help you get there. Just a few more minutes left. Shout out to Amanda, who says, learn to handle rejection is a huge benefit of selling. DJ says, yeah, they're really cute in those little blue uniforms with a smile and missing teeth in the front. Yes, I agree. Jennifer says, when you're selling, don't let the scouts sit down, stay standing and engage. Yeah, all of these are great lessons. Don't let parents block the table display. Our commenters, in case you guys don't know, are great. I mean, a lot of them have been through this before, and they are great about sharing their popcorn selling tips. Guys, this has been a great show. I want to hit a few more talking points before we wrap things up today. One of the great things about Trails End is that they are there to help out. There is a community Facebook group where you can go. Can maybe either of you sort of tell me how that works? You can go on, anybody can go on Facebook to the official Trails End Popcorn community and share tips, concerns, questions. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. So the community group tends to be a little more geared towards the unit leaders running the sale. And then there's a separate group specifically for Trails End parents. So just figure out which one works the best for you. But yes, there's always great ideas. If you've got something that you need to communicate to Trails End, that's a great way to do it, because I guarantee you, we look at and take to heart every single comment on there. So yeah, absolutely take advantage of that.
Awesome. And I think we talked about this earlier, Jim, but we kind of glossed over it. At most storefronts, you have one scout, one adult.
Yeah. So, and that,
about that.
yeah, and that's what Trails End recommends, because we're out there trying to raise the most amount of money in the least amount of time. So in order to maximize the scouts' interaction with the most number of customers without watering that down, we recommend one parent, one scout. And then if you've got other scouts that want to sell, do more than one storefront at a time. Jess and I's unit I think we had up to 6 locations running concurrently on a Saturday last year. So it can be done. Just get a couple more tables. Jess, you got anything to add?
No, the only thing I would add is that it allows the scout to focus. Right. I mean, we all have had those squirrely kids. I mean, my oldest and my youngest both were the kid that hung behind, my leg or my husband's leg at the table. Like, I'm not selling popcorn. What is this? Right. But not having like the other kids around to, distract them or whatever has helped them over time. My oldest now at 14, when I say, okay, we're doing 4 hours at a storefront, and he's like, okay, cool. No big deal. Right. Hey, I can make 4 hours. Right. Where, 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been, oh.
Yes. Right. Jim, I think you used the word research. Your title at Trails End, Director of Research. I had it in front of me a second ago.
Yeah, Head of Research. Professionally, I'm a market researcher. Yep.
Market research. Yeah, you guys have, again, one of the things that makes Trails End such a great partner is that they have done a lot of the research focused on, for example, increasing your hourly rates at these storefronts. Like, they've done the research to know what works best. Can you talk about that a little bit, Jim, and what kind of research we're talking about there?
Yeah, so that's what I mentioned earlier about working with our analytics folks. So they've been able to pull in some data beyond what you might find on Google to help us assess, like what are the best locations we can send scouts to, and where can we send them, and thanks for putting that graphic up. So this is from last year's sales, and if you sum all that up, nearly 2,000 scouts sold over $300 an hour at our storefront. So that's even before we made these changes to improve how lucrative the spots are. So that over 18,000 hours were at $300 an hour or more, which just blows my mind. But yeah,
Wow.
so and it can be done. And I would also add, folks at the troop level, don't let anyone tell you that your older kids cannot sell. Me and Jess's oldest are 14, 15 now, and they are still top performers in the council year after year. So
Yeah.
they gotta be a little more
Yes.
professional and a little more
So,
polished. They
I
don't
was
get
just-
they don't get the gimme sales. Yep,
Yep.
they got to
As I say,
work for
Amanda's
it. But
comment
yeah,
is so true. You
But-
can't like
yeah.
a pitch when people go, well, what's Philmont, right? Because the general public doesn't always know what all opportunities are. You can't just say, well, I'm going to summer camp. Well, where is summer camp? What do you do at summer camp?
Yep.
Or what is Philmont? Where is it located? Right? How long is your trek? Those kinds of questions. It's a pitch that's not just, hey, can you want to buy some popcorn? Right? You got to explain that scouting experience, particularly as an older scout. But it's totally possible.
And it's a chance to tell the public what scouting is all about,
Mm-hmm.
which is huge.
Yeah, the opportunity to wear the uniform in public, people walk by and see you. That's great. Yeah, I think it was Amanda in the comments who mentioned that the Cub Scouts can do it. They can get away with just being cute. Just a few basic things, making eye contact, things like that. But and that's impressive and that's cute. But you know what else is impressive is a teenager who is well spoken, well articulated. I mean,
Yep.
People have
like
impressions. People have some impressions of the modern teenager. Sometimes for good reason, based on what we consume in pop culture, right? And when they meet a scout who stands up straight and looks them in the eye and can tell them what Philmont is and can tell them how much camping with their friends means to them, that has an impact. You can do some fundraising and some selling, and what a great reward. You deserve it, kids. If you can go out and do that, you deserve to go to the National Jamboree. How much does it cost if you do all this again?
Yeah, it can cost zero. Yeah,
it is possible to do it. I got to chatting and we went a little bit long today, but that's okay. We have so many good comments and such two great guests. I'm going to give you guys one last chance to have any final thoughts before we let you go. But before we do that, I do have one final gift card to give away. Mariah says popcorn sales always paid for their grandson and themselves to go to summer camp. Every year he's been in his troop. Congratulations, Mariah, you just won, or Maria, I apologize. You just won a $100 gift card. Check your Facebook messages for a message, and with a link, you can click on it. You can choose where it goes to, Amazon, Lego, Best Buy. I think there's some other options in there. That's the same kind of gift card that is a part of the Trails End rewards program. There's nothing wrong with earning rewards. Most of us adults do it with our credit cards. Scouts can do it when they sell popcorn. They get points, and they can, if they get enough points, they can use that to redeem a free award. Just another incentive. Whew, man, it's
my son has a nicer laptop than I do.
Yeah.
Yep. I was gonna say all my kids have bought laptops.
Yeah, that is awesome. Again, Trails End Popcorn, we're super happy to have them on board. We talked a second ago. I just want to make sure I get this right. We talked a second ago about there's a Trails End parents group on Facebook. You can join. I think behind the scenes, Brian maybe already threw that link up. Maybe he can throw it up here in just a second. A great way to find out what other folks are doing in their community. Before we go behind the scenes, Brian is also going to throw that Get Started link up on the screen. If you don't know anything about Trails End Popcorn, if you've never done it before, that's why they're there. Go to that link. They are there. People like Jim are there to help you. They want you to be successful. This has been a great show, very informative. Again, thanks to all of the folks who commented. We got some great discussion going back and forth with advices and bits of advice and tips in the comments on how to sell popcorn and how it's benefited their troop. Congratulations to all of you, three of you who won the gift cards. Before we let you go, Jim and Jess, anything I left out? Any final thoughts that we need to let our Scouts BSA parents and troop leaders know about?
Why don't you go first, Jess?
I was gonna say, if you're on the fence about selling popcorn, or versus doing like small local fundraising year round, I think Jim would probably agree with me. We get the most bang for our buck with Trails End. It's 9 weeks. We get 40% back. The Scouts do, right? Directly. while it is more expensive, right? The popcorn, that's one thing we always hear. Popcorn gets more and more
Right.
expensive every year.
Right.
Unfortunately, the cost of scouting is more expensive year over year, right? But I only have to sell one bag of popcorn versus, 20 or 30 bags of something that's only $3 or $4, right? So it is the most bang for your buck for Trails End, which I love to fundraise, but I don't want to fundraise 365
Yep. Yeah.
days a year, right?
You guys choose to do 9 weeks because
Mhm.
that's what works for you, but that is an option, right? Different, correct me if I'm wrong, different troops could choose to do less if they choose to. Is that right?
Yep. So yeah, so various councils define different lengths of time for their storefront portion of their sale. You can technically sell popcorn any time of the year online.
Okay.
Yep, year round.
But yeah, if you don't want to sell for the entire time, you don't have to. Like put maximum effort in the first weekend or two, and earn what you need to earn in the least amount of time, and then get back to scouting. And then I would also add, we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but yeah, when you're going out to those storefronts or you're selling, like, bring that scouting toughness that you've learned within the program, and more importantly, your can-do attitude to your storefront sales. So I know we've seen it in the program and within popcorn that scouts are capable of amazing things. We just gotta give them the opportunity and get the heck out of the way.
I totally agree with that. And I will say that, we talked about the cuteness factor with Cub Scouts. We talked about sort of the polished, respectful factor maybe with older scouts. I think the thread that goes through all of that is if a scout is being honest and truthful, like if they mean it, that comes across. And if they stumble over their words, if they're not as eloquent, right? If they say the wrong thing, nobody
That's okay.
cares. If
Yep.
if they mean it, that they make that connection. That's how you make a sale, right? That's how people
Yeah, you
know.
just gotta try.
Exactly. If you're out there giving it your best, we've had a couple of folks say that Jennifer says they've engaged with some former scouters. That was always really inspiring for me when my Cub Scouts would sell popcorn. People would come up and say, "Oh, I was a scout as a kid, and do you still do this? Do you do that?" And they would tell all the stories, and that was really, really cool to say. I think I'm going to end the show with a comment from our good friend DJ, who is one of our best commenters. Guys, we love DJ. We had a young man that was 13 years old. Even when he was rejected, he would say, "Okay, have a nice day." On the way out of the store, they remembered that. They would give him a donation. Yeah, I mean, what a great lesson, right? That's a great thing to do. You're respectful. You're nice to people. Not everybody's going to say yes. That's okay.
And that'll bring people back from the parking lot.
It does. I was going to say, Jim and I both have seen, walk by, and our kids always say, "Thank you, have a nice day," right? And they'll get 10 steps from the table and it kind of sinks in, and they turn around, and it's fun to watch because it's like you're saying thank you. Yes,
Right.
You said no, right? And it's a rejection, but you were polite about it and you were kind about it, and you just didn't walk away with a frown on your face, right?
Right.
It does. That pays off as well too.
I have been on the other end of that. I have been walking out of stores and not a scout group, but someone trying to sell something. I said no, thank you, and they get mad and bitter, right? Like I'm the bad guy, right? And that turns you off. Okay, you're like, I'm not. Well, now I'm really glad I didn't give to you. Just a nice, respectful, thank you so much. Have a good day. And you know what? Actually, that kettle corn actually sounds kind of good. Again, thank you all so much for joining us today. This has been great. Shout out to all of our friends at Trails End. Welcome to Scouting America as an official partner. We are so thrilled to have you, Jess and Jim. You guys are pros at this. You should be doing more live videos talking about selling popcorn all the time because you did so great. Congratulations to our 3 winners of gift cards. We're going to have more Trails End content going forward as we move forward. Be sure and check out the Aaron on Scouting blog. And, again, it's July 23rd. I can't believe summer is almost more than halfway over. School's going to be starting in another few weeks. The 2025-26 school year and scouting year is right around the corner. Now is the time to start thinking about popcorn sales. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Which high adventure base are you going to go to? Are you going to go to the Jamboree next year? Are you just going to go to a ton of campouts, every weekend in your area? That's great. Whatever you want to do, you can do it with Trails End. Jess and Jim, it's so nice to meet you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Aaron.
having
We
us.
appreciate it.
Thank you all again at home for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be back with another episode of Troop Talk Live soon. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Jim.
Thank
Great
you all.
seeing
You're
you guys.
welcome.
Have a good
Bye,
one.
everybody.
Bye-bye.